Welcome to the deep dive. If you're joining us, you know the drill. We take complex material and, well, we break it down into insights you can actually use. This is your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're unpacking a really dense and, I think, comprehensive strategy for success and prosperity.
hmm
Our focus is the book, God's Prescription for Wealth Creation by Muchinga Simbule. And let me just say, this is not your typical financial primer. It's much more of a blueprint for a holistic life.
That's absolutely right. And our mission today really is to synthesize the author's multi-layered framework.
Multi-layered is the right word for it.
It is. The book fundamentally challenges these purely material definitions of wealth. It suggests the real measure of prosperity goes far beyond, just your bank balance. We're mapping out the whole strategy from what the author calls a spiritual mandate all the way to very practical daily actions.
And that central premise is just so crucial to get right from the start. The author's idea of true wealth it's holistic. It includes your physical and mental well-being, stable relationships, deep personal fulfillment, and financial stability. It's about maximizing your potential across all of these areas.
Precisely. So let's start with that core concept in the title, prescription.
Yes.
When the author uses this word, they're using it figuratively. It's described as God's divine guidance, an authoritative direction for creating wealth that lasts.
So not a rigid set of rules you just follow blindly?
Not at all. It's really important to stress that. It's presented as a universal framework of wisdom, a sort of foundational design meant to align your effort with your purpose.
And that alignment, that immediately brings us to the concept of work itself. We usually think of work as, transactional, a means to an end. But this book, it elevates work to something much higher. It calls it a sacred calling. What does that even mean in practical terms?
It means you have to shift your whole perspective. The author sees work as an act of co-creation. It's the main way that we as humans manifest our potential and, contribute to the world.
Co-creation. I like that.
Yeah. It's defined as a purposeful engagement that helps the collective. And what's fascinating is how the book contrasts this with purely economic views.
Right. It even cites Anthony Giddens' definition.
It does, the whole carrying out of tasks for goods and services definition. But the book argues the purpose of work is far more essential to our human dignity than just the paycheck.
That depth, I think, is what makes the book's definition of poverty so profound. It's not just a lack of money. It's presented as a spiritual and internal state, a dis-ease.
That term dis-ease is so powerful, isn't it? It just reframes the whole issue. It takes away the external stigma of, just financial failure, and it puts the cure back on your internal health.
So how is this dis-ease characterized?
Primarily by a lack of diligence, of intentional focus, and purposeful activity. It's kind of disharmony where your potential and your actions just aren't aligned.
Okay, but here's the question. If poverty is defined internally like this, what about people facing huge systemic barriers? Or those who are incredibly diligent but are still struggling? Does the author address the reality that not everyone who is poor is, idle?
That is a critical question.
Yeah.
And the book doesn't deny external challenges exist. Not at all. But it puts a massive emphasis on personal agency.
Okay.
The argument is that while poverty might start externally, its deepest and most damaging effect is internal. It robs you of your voice and your dignity.
And the author uses that quote from Ecclesiastes to drive the point home.
Exactly. The poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. So work defined as that purposeful activity becomes the cure, because it restores your self-worth, your potential, regardless of the immediate financial outcome.
Which leads us right to the core mechanism in the book for success, the wealth creation equation.
And it is deceptively simple.
It really is. Your work plus God's blessing equals wealth. So how does the book suggest you navigate that tension between your own effort, the work, and divine intervention, the blessing?
It's a dynamic balance. The blessing isn't automatic or passive. That's the key. It's the force that amplifies and sustains your diligent effort.
So you have to provide the foundation.
You provide the foundation, the integrity, the hard work, the planning, and the blessing is the multiplier. It's what ensures the prosperity is sustainable, not just a flash in the pan.
It's a pathway, not a lottery ticket.
Precisely. You are responsible for maximizing your God-given capacity, and the blessing ensures that effort bears fruit.
All right, so let's transition into the mechanics of success. The book introduces another foundational idea, the success equation.
Right, and this is where it gets really practical. Responsibility plus authority equals dominion, or success.
And the order there is everything.
Absolutely everything. Responsibility comes first. And the author's very clear. This is not about titles or roles. It's about responsibility.
Your capacity to respond effectively.
Exactly. To respond thoughtfully and proactively to your environment. True authority, the power to influence, to lead it, can't just be given to you. It grows organically out of demonstrated responsibility.
I loved the gardener analogy the book uses for this.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. The gardener might have the title owner on a piece of paper, but it's the consistent responsibility, the daily watering, the weeding that brings the garden to life and gives them true authority over it.
Without that effort, the title is meaningless. And the author insists this has to start internally with what's called the self-confrontation of responsibility.
Which means owning your choices.
It's the act of owning your choices. The book points to the parable of the prodigal son. His turning point wasn't when his father forgave him.
It was when he came to his senses.
That's the moment. That's when responsibility is embraced and the blame syndrome, deflecting accountability is finally rejected.
So once you have that internal commitment, the next indispensable piece is vision. The book calls it the compass of destiny.
And the quote is so direct. Where there's no vision, there's no direction. Where there's no direction, there's no purpose.
It's the link, the thing that connects what you're doing right now to your desired future.
It is. And the author makes a very sharp distinction here. If you only focus on your immediate desires, the needs, the wants, the comforts of right now, you're just trapped. You're in a cycle of consumption and stagnation.
So vision is the anchor that pulls you out of that.
It's the anchor. Vision anchors those immediate desires and hope in expectations and aspirations for the future. And that shift is what enables delayed gratification, which is required for any major achievement. Vision answers the question, why am I doing this hard thing today?
This all culminates in one of the most intriguing ideas in this section for me. Provision lies within vision. What does the book mean when it says the resources you need are actually part of the vision itself?
It's a powerful encouragement to just move. Don't wait. The idea is that provision isn't some external thing you have to wait for. It's like a seed that's already embedded within the vision.
And your effort nurtures it.
Your dedication and effort unlock it. When you commit to the vision, you start to see the resources and opportunities around you. If you wait for the fully funded project before you start anything, you will be waiting forever. You have to act.
Okay, so that action, acting on the vision, requires a huge amount of self-preparation. This is the next big stage in the book's framework, and it starts with knowledge.
Yes, but the author divides knowledge into two interconnected roles, which is key.
Right.
First, there's instruction. This is your practical knowledge, the how-to. It builds the functional material framework of your life. But just as important is information.
Which is the why.
Exactly. It's about inner transformation. Yeah. It's the knowledge that shapes your character and aligns your inner being with your purpose.
So if instruction builds the house, information makes sure the blueprint is sound, that it's aligned with who you are. The book uses a great quote from Proverbs for this.
A perfect analogy. Wisdom and understanding build the structure, but it's knowledge that fills the rooms with precious and pleasant riches.
But here's the problem the author points out. Knowledge by itself is static.
It's inert. It has to be ignited by belief, which the book calls the engine of possibility.
And why is belief so much more important than just being smart or skilled?
Because the author argues that the tragedy of unbelief is the real reason so many people get stuck in mediocrity, even though they have access to tons of information.
So knowledge is passive until belief makes it active.
Right, and that leads to what the book calls the belief cycle.
Let's break that down, because it's a dense concept.
It is. It's a dynamic three-part loop. First, knowledge is received through the axis. You learn something. Then that knowledge has to transform into faith in the heart. You truly internalize it.
And
finally, that faith manifests as confession and action through the mouth and your hands. You speak it, and you act on it. It's this continuous loop where data becomes conviction, and conviction shapes your reality.
This level of preparation obviously requires resources, and we naturally think the main resource is money. But the book just flips that on its head.
It completely does. It calls time the ultimate resource.
That's a huge shift in thinking.
It is. In this framework, money is secondary. It's a byproduct, a tool. Time is the fundamental primary resource you use to generate wealth in the first place.
And time is the great equalizer, isn't it? Everybody gets the same 24 hours.
Absolutely. And the key insight from the book is that time is finite. It's non-renewable. The author compares it to manna in the wilderness. You can't store it up.
So the only thing you control is how you use it today.
That's it. Your choices right now determine your entire future capacity for wealth creation.
And that strategic use of time leads directly to opportunity, which is defined not as luck, but as the art of adaptation.
Right. Opportunity is the deliberate adaptation to changes in your environment, but always in line with your vision. The author is blunt. Failure to adapt is catastrophic.
So this is where preparation finally meets the real world.
It is, and it leads to that really powerful conclusion in the book. When opportunity meets with self-preparation, it is called favor.
So favor isn't some kind of magic. It's just a prepared person capitalizing on a window of opportunity that an unprepared person would completely miss.
That's it. And the book reinforces this by saying that opportunity is almost always embedded in challenges and problems.
Right, like the biblical examples it uses.
Exactly. Joseph and Pharaoh's dream, David and the problem of Goliath, Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar's dream. In every case, the problem was the incubator for the opportunity. The crisis required knowledge and courage that was already there.
Okay, so this brings us to the final stage of the whole framework, the imperative of action. After all the prep, all the vision, all the responsibility, the author warns against what he calls the barrenness of inaction.
The analogy the book uses here is so evocative. Those who catch fish don't fish from the shore, but launch out into the deep.
Daydreamers stay on the shore.
Exactly. Daydreamers watch. Missionaries launch out, accepting the risk to get the reward. The author really stresses the urgency of it using that quote from Joshua. How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land?
The possession depends on the action of claiming it.
It's contingent on it. You have to move.
And beyond just individual action, the book talks about social interaction, the power of association as iron sharpens iron. But it's about who you associate with, right?
Oh, absolutely. The author makes a crucial distinction between your mere acquaintances and the involved.
And the involved are.
The involved are the people who affirm your purpose, who give you clear-eyed critique, who stick with you when it's hard. They are actively invested in your vision.
This idea then feeds into the book's whole philosophy on economics with its take on competition versus cooperation.
This is a huge claim for the book. The idea is that unhealthy competition, which breeds greed, only transfers wealth. It doesn't create it.
A zero-sum game.
A zero-sum game. You're just fighting to take a slice of a fixed pie. But the author argues true wealth is created through cooperation and adding value. When your work solves a problem, you create new value for the whole system. Work becomes the highest form of giving.
That just changes the entire definition of winning. So finally, the book outlines the factors that sustain you once you're in motion, the forces that come from all that self-preparation.
We see 4 key factors: courage, the will to subdue fear, perseverance, the will to keep trying, persistence, the will to continue despite opposition, and love, the will to overcome selfishness and serving others. These are the pillars that keep you on the path.
And what about failure? Because everyone's going to fail.
The author's very pragmatic about it. The argument is that inaction is the real failure. The perspective is simple. It's better to begin and fail than to complain and laugh at those trying.
Failing teaches you.
Failing teaches you. Complaining sears your mind. Failure is just data. Complaining is mental corrosion.
And the conclusion wraps this entire massive framework up through the lens of legacy. The author insists the true chronicle of your life isn't your birth certificate, but the indelible mark of your work on Earth.
It's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? To maximize your potential. The author gives this profound quote that really encapsulates the whole message. To depart from this world with your potential unrealized is similar to never having existed at all. It's a call to fully use your capacity to create.
So if we summarize the core journey this book lays out for you, the learner, it's so systematic. First, embrace holistic wealth. Second, dedicate yourself to sacred work. Third, take full responsibility. Fourth, get a guiding vision. Fifth, build your knowledge and belief. And finally, you execute with sustained action.
And the ultimate takeaway is accountability. The book asserts that at the end of everything, we are accountable for the fruit our gifts bear, not just for having the gifts. Fruitfulness value creation is the purpose of it all.
This entire framework is a call to be a deliberate creator of value, an engineer with a blueprint, not just a passive recipient waiting for things to happen. The greatest rewards, both material and holistic, they come from maximizing your potential.
So let me leave you with this final thought rooted right in the text. The author contends that the world is not for the idle. There is no opportunity that is identified by the lazy. If that's true, if opportunity is truly embedded in every single problem you face, what specific existing problem in your immediate environment, your work, your community, your home, is waiting for your self-preparation to turn it into favor? Go find that problem and start the work today.